This game was one of the most frustrating games I've ever watched. I'm not even going to say it's the worst loss ever, but it was super frustrating. And the reason was because this team could not capitalize on the opportunities that were presented to them. You know, that last week game, it was fool's gold, right? 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, the Eagles played the Lions, fool's gold, right? When you defeat teams that aren't very good, or within the Saints case, if you defeat a team that doesn't have a quarterback, they don't have whoever they were going to play at quarterback. They don't have Alvin Kamara. They're very injured. They didn't do well against the Bills. We could all see that. And you win big against those teams, and you kind of flex on bad teams, which I don't know if the Saints are a bad team, but they haven't been playing very well. You kind of get a sense that, we're a really good team, and the fans kind of go crazy and they talk about playoffs. We're going to talk about that later. But when you're a team that is young, and when you're a team that has a new coaching staff, and, you feel like you're a great team because you've beaten up on teams that are either injured or aren't very good, you kind of get high on yourself, and then when you play a team that you probably should beat, the Eagles probably should have beaten the Giants. They probably should have. But I even said before the game, I was like, dude, we're probably going to drop this one because this team overlooked the Giants. This team considered themselves a playoff team, which I don't even know if they're there yet, and I'm going to talk about that at the end. But they considered themselves to be a playoff team, and they went into to play the Giants, and I wouldn't say they got steamrolled, but the Giants handled the Eagles in relative fashion. It wasn't like the Giants completely owned the Eagles. It was just that the Eagles had a bunch of opportunities to do things and to score points, and the Giants stopped them, or the Eagles, like Plaxico Burress, shot themselves in the foot, and the Giants didn't turn the ball over. The Giants didn't turn the ball over. The Eagles turned the ball over 4 times. And what the most demoralizing part about the fact that they turned the ball over 4 times was the fact that 2 of those times the Eagles were relatively deep in Giants territory. One of the times it was an interception at the 1 yard line. The 1 yard line. That is unacceptable. And I'll get to that later too. Absolutely unacceptable. There have been at least 3 or 4 other times this season where the Eagles have had the ball at the 1 yard line and they've either fumbled it or it's been a turnover on downs. That can't happen. And when you're playing a close game, you need to get whatever points that you can get. Whatever points you can get. And the Giants, they took their points. They were able to get the ball into the end zone once. But they took their field goals. And I think they missed 1 field goal. And if the Eagles attempt those 2 field goals, they probably let's say they make one of them. Okay, let's just say, for instance, they make one of them. That last drive, where we're driving down the field, we're driving for a field goal to make it overtime. And if we had kicked both of those field goals and made them, we're driving down the field to win the ball game. And we win the ball game. If we don't have 2 interceptions. That is what made this game so frustrating. And the real question in my mind was how was them firing Jason Garrett going to change things? And to me, it didn't really change that much. That offense is very similar to the offense that they were playing in the past. It's just they weren't turning the ball over, right? The Eagles defense actually did a really good job and almost got 1 turnover. But when you're a defense and you can't get any turnovers and your offense isn't doing anything, you're just trying to stop the opponent as it is. So there isn't really that much I can say about this game because it was just so putrid. It was like the toilet bowl. Like, yeah, the Giants won this game, but here's the thing. If the Eagles had won this game and Jalen Hurts had successfully thrown the ball to Rieger and Rieger caught the ball and went in for the touchdown, I'd be looking at this game and being like, dude, we won 14-13, dude. That's not good. And I really think, and I'm going to talk about this later too, we really need to get out of the mentality that we're going to be a playoff team. Because, yeah, you look at our schedule, and the toughest team to beat is Dallas. And let's say we do go 9-8. I mean, yeah, we might go to the playoffs, but what do we have in there to do once we get into the playoffs? We don't really have anything. I would say hats off to the defensive staff because they did pretty well. I mean, the Giants scored 10 points against the Buccaneers. They only scored 13 points against us, maybe 16 points against us. The Giants do have a good defense, but this loss was inexcusable. And I'm not going to say it's the most embarrassing loss. I'm going to just come out here and say that it was a frustrating loss, and it was a loss that it wasn't hard to take. But when you're watching a game for 3 hours and you're like, dude, like, when you see players making middle school mistakes, you just have to be like, come on. Like, it really stinks because on this offense, there is only one reliable player on the team. Just one. And he didn't dress out today. So we had 0 reliable players on the field. We just don't have a reliable player. The quarterback isn't reliable. The receivers can't catch. The receivers can't get open. The line fails to block. The Hall of Fame center missed a half. The running backs fumble. Jordan Howard is the only player on this team right now who is reliable. And him not being there just destroys all of his reliability. I understand he got injured. I understand you can't really help that, but that's it. Jordan Howard is this offense, and him not being on the field, that hurts the team. It really hurts the team. So I'm done with the review of the game. Congratulations, Giants. You deserved it. You deserved it because you made less mistakes and you capitalized on your opportunities. So you deserve to win the game. That's how things go. We're not going to go ahead and blame the refs. We're not going to go ahead and blame anything else. They won, plain and simply.